Hello students, welcome to our session. Today we will discuss about market milk. This is our 7th lecture. So, our first point is microbiology of milk. Almost all the changes which takes place in the taste, odor or appearance of milk after it comes from the cow are the results of activity of microorganisms. The microorganisms which are most important in dairy industry are the bacteria, yeast and molds. All these microorganisms are from plant kingdom and belong to the fungi family. They are plants without chlorophyll. Microorganisms are without chlorophyll but they are plants. Viruses may also be found in milk. A few of these microorganisms are desirable while most causes undesirable changes to the milk. A small portion is also of disease producing type which are called as pathogens. A very small or little portion which causes diseases or disease producing type are called as pathogens. These various microorganisms are found nearly everywhere in nature including air and water also. They are found in large numbers in soil, sewage or sewage water, then decaying plants or animals, feeds, manures and poorly washed utensils, etc. The microorganisms which are most important in dairy industry are, as we discussed, like bacteria, yeast and molds. And important point is a small portion is also of disease producing type of microorganisms which are called as pathogens. Okay, so next is growth of microorganisms. Growth refers to increase in numbers. When milk drawn from a healthy cow that already contains some bacteria, their number multiply during production and handling process, which is depending on cleanliness of that operations. So subsequently their numbers may grow still further, either substantially or only slightly, depending on storage conditions. There are some stages of growth. So the growth of microorganisms normally takes place in the following stages. So first stage is initial stationary stage. Second one is lag phase, is phase of adjustments. Then third one is accelerated growth phase. Fourth is maximum stationary phase. And fifth one is phase of accelerated death. These are 5 stages of growth of microorganisms. Then next point is factors that are influencing growth of microorganisms. So there are different factors like food supply, moisture, air, acidity or pH, then preservatives which are present in milk, then light, then concentration, temperature, then different types of temperature, different temperature, different temperatures or variation in temperatures. Then first discuss about food supply. Like every living cells, microorganisms require sources of energy to maintain their life processes and reproduce. So in milk, all dairy products and in milk, adequate amount of variety food elements are present as a food nourishment for microorganisms. So it is food supply. The next point is moisture. That moisture is also responsible for growth of microorganisms. Microorganisms find the optimum condition for growth when the food material and atmosphere is saturated with moisture or that food material content moisture. Dye-product due to their low moisture content keep longer. So that moisture is very important factor for growth of microorganisms. Then third one is air, or it is atmosphere. There are different types of microorganisms present in milk and different types of milk products. Some may need specific concentration of oxygen. Air supplies oxygen to aerobic types of bacteria and molds in general. Some bacteria are aerobic type, that's why they need different types of air concentration. So this air is also important factor for growth of microorganisms. Then next factor is acidity or pH. Most of the microorganisms prefer a medium whose reaction pH is around 5.6 to 7.5. It is about acidic to neutral pH, due to which acidity appears in milk either by the action microorganisms itself or through external addition. Thus, in this way, the growth of microorganisms stops. The next factor is preservatives. Certain chemicals can either check the growth or destroy the microorganisms depending upon their action and concentration. These chemicals are known as preservatives. So the use of preservatives is also responsible for the growth of microorganisms. The next factor is light. The majority of microorganisms grow very good or best in the dark. Light is more or less harmful for the growth of microorganisms. Sometimes it is more harmful or sometimes it is less harmful for the growth of microorganisms. That's why this factor, that light, is also important for growth of microorganisms. The next one is concentration. High source or salt concentration in product checks the growth of microorganisms. That salt acts as a preservative. That's why this high concentration of salt is also checks the growth of microorganisms. The next is temperature. It is an important tool for controlling microorganisms. Each species of microorganisms has its optimum, maximum and minimum temperature of growth. Every species of microorganisms has its own optimum, maximum and minimum temperature of growth. So according to their optimum growth temperature, bacteria can be classified as psychotropic, first one, then mesophile, this is second type, and third type is thermophile. So first one is psychotropic. So what is psychotropic bacteria? That bacteria can grow at refrigeration temperature like 5 degree to minus 7 degree temperature. It is very cool temperature. In this temperature that bacteria can survive. So those bacteria are psychotropic bacteria, can grow at refrigeration temperature like 5 degree to 7 degree. Then second type is mesophilic bacteria or mesophile microorganisms. These microorganisms can grow at temperature ranging between 20 degree to 40 degree centigrade. So it is normal temperature, normal room temperature. So this mesophile can grow at this temperature up to 20 to 40 degree. This range of temperature is 20 degree to 40 degree. So that type of microorganisms are called mesophile. And third one is thermophilic. Thermophilic means it is heat loving type of microorganisms. So heat loving or thermophilic microorganisms can grow at temperature about 50 degree or at heavy temperature, that is above 50 degree temperature, above 50 degree centigrade. These are rare microorganisms. In general, low temperature retards microbial growth. Normally, for growth of microorganisms, optimum room temperature is required. That's why low temperature retard microbial growth. So milk and dairy products are refrigerated to prevent rapid spoilage. That's why we refrigerated it into refrigerated dairy products to prevent the spoilage. The optimum growth rate of the majority of microorganisms will be between 15 to 38 degrees centigrade. This is optimum growth rate of the majority of microorganisms. So most microorganisms are destroyed at high temperature, that is more than 60 degree temperature. So this last type is thermophilic, and these are very rare type. So our next point is product of microbial growth. So what is product of microbial growth or microbial cells? That is riboflavin. The change which takes place in the physicochemical properties of milk are the result of the activities of the individual microbial cells during their period of growth. Riboflavin is a vitamin as well as a greenish yellow pigment which is present in milk. It is a vitamin, that riboflavin is a vitamin, as well as it is greenish yellow colored. So it is greenish yellow colored pigment of milk, and it occurs in the serum of whey, giving a greenish yellow tinge to this portion of milk. So previously riboflavin was called lactoflavin or lactochrome, because that riboflavin are present in milk, or it is milk pigment. That's why previously it was called lactoflavin or lactochrome. Next point is enzymes. Enzymes are a chemical substance secreted by living plants and animals. It is chemical substance which is secreted by living plants and animal cells. These are biological catalysts. Enzymes are biological catalysts which can accelerate or retard chemical changes, or which can alter the rate of reaction, or accelerate, or sometimes it retard the chemical changes without becoming the part of the compound form. The enzymes are proteins like substances, specific in their action, and are inactivated by heat. So each enzyme has its own inactivation temperature. The important milk enzyme and their specific actions are, first one is amylase. This is first one important milk enzyme. It is diastase, that is starch splitting enzyme. Then next is lipase, that is fat splitting enzyme, producing rancid flavor to the milk. Then third enzyme is phosphatase. That phosphatase enzyme is capable of splitting certain phosphoric acids esters. It is capable of splitting certain phosphoric acid esters. So this enzyme is phosphatase. The next enzyme is protease. That is protein splitting enzyme is protease. Then next enzyme which is present in milk is peroxidase and catalase. Which decompose hydrogen peroxide. The next enzyme is lactose. What is lactose? Lactose is sugar fermenting enzyme. It ferments sugar. That's why it is sugar fermenting enzyme, which is lactose. Then next and last enzyme is reductase. It is a reducing enzyme. That's why it is reductase. So all these enzymes, and these are enzymes and that are their specific actions. Okay. So our next point is vitamins. Vitamins are present in food in very minute quantities. These vitamins are present in very small or minute quantities. These are essential for the health and growth of living organisms. As today, more than 25 vitamins have been reported. Absence of vitamins in diet for long period causes deficiency diseases. So there are different vitamins which are found in milk are, first one, fat soluble vitamins, and second type is water soluble vitamins. In fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E and K, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K are fat soluble vitamin, and B complex, so group of B complex or B complex contains thiamine or B1, riboflavin or B2, pantothenic acid, then niacin, then pyridoxine or B6, then biotin, B12, then folic acid, etc. And last one is vitamin C, that is ascorbic acid. So all these vitamins are water soluble vitamins. There are two types of vitamins. First one is a fat soluble and second one is a water soluble. First, fat soluble vitamins are vitamin A, vitamin D and vitamin K and vitamin E also, and water soluble vitamins are all B complex vitamins or B complex and vitamin C, that is ascorbic acid. Okay, then our next point is destruction of microorganisms. Under the favorable conditions, the microbial growth may accelerate and thus may result into spoilage of the dairy products or all milk products. The greater the bacteria count in the milk is, the greater the number of bacteria per ml of milk and the lower is its bacteriological quality. In the dairy industry, efforts are taken in the controlling microorganisms which causes spoilage. So there are different types of microorganisms which are responsible of spoilage of milk and milk products. Spores forming bacteria cause troubles in the dairy products. These spores spoil the milk and milk products. Because of their resistance to pasteurization and sanitation procedure, most spores or molds are destroyed by pasteurization. Spores of yeast are also readily destroyed during pasteurization process. Viruses can be destroyed by higher heat treatment. These spores or yeast are also readily destroyed by pasteurization process or during pasteurization process, and different viruses which are sometimes are present in milk can be destroyed by higher heat treatment. The various means for destruction of microorganisms growth in milk are, first one is a heat, then ionizing radiation or ionizing radiation. So first one is a heat. This is the most widely used tool for the purpose. So different types of treatments or heat treatments with varying temperatures, time combinations are used, such as pasteurization, sterilization, etc. So different types of treatments are used in dairy industries like pasteurization and sterilization with varying temperature and different time combinations. Second point is ionizing radiation. This ionizing radiation includes use of ultraviolet rays. So we can use ultraviolet rays in ionizing radiation. Less possibility of soluble dirt going into the solution. This is third point. So there are some disadvantages. The flow of milk is slow as it is cold. Sometimes the flow of milk is very slow because it is very cold. Even good microorganisms are destroyed during pasteurization. In heavy heating process or pasteurization process, sometimes good microorganisms are also destroyed. Then general construction and operation of filters and clarifiers. Filters, a filter cloth of received milk pore size is used supported on a proper frame. It is so arranged that changing of the filter cloth is easy, and also it has proper inlet and outlet connections of unfiltered and filtered milk. Second one is a clarifiers. Clarifiers are also used in milk industry. In general appearance of construction, clarifiers are quite similar to centrifugal cream separator, that is centrifuge cream separator. However, in clarifiers there is only one outlet for the clarified milk, whereas in separator or centrifugal milk separator there are two outlets, one for cream and other for skim milk. This is third point is relative efficiency. Relative efficiency, then clarification removes sediments such as efficiently than filtration. Clarification process is effective than filtration process because it removes sediments much more efficiently than filtration process. So clarifiers removes still finer particles that escape from filter paper or filtering clothes. That's why clarification process removes more sediments than filtration process. So this is very relative efficient process as compared to filtration. The next one is a composition of material written on the filter paper or filter cloth. It is called as the clarific slime. It includes suspended foreign particles along with some milk fat. Some milk fats are also there in that filter paper on the surface of that filter cloth. There are some milk fat, protein, bacteria, etc. However, the removal of the clarifier slime does not affect the composition of milk to a significant extent. The loss in solids resulting from clarification is usually greater than 0.01%. So these are disadvantages of that process. Then general remark, neither filtration nor clarification improves the keeping quality of milk. We cannot improve the keeping quality of milk by filtration or clarification process. Milk should neither be filtered nor clarified after pasteurization, as this might contaminate it. That pasteurization process, as this might contaminate it. So this is general remark. So now this is our chapter number 1, that is market milk. Now in our next chapter we will discuss about different dairy products or common dairy processes. Okay, thank you.